What's up, Winston's mom? White Claw is yes, it's exactly an ESTP wine spritzer. It's a pretty good way to describe it. Hold on, we're having technical difficulties here with this hardware. Also, God damn it, I'm gonna have to get more expensive internet. We moved to this house. Where we moved to doesn't have Google Fiber, which is the best internet, really. So I don't know what we have, Spectrum or some shit, but it looks like I'm gonna have to upgrade to a better internet because I got the little thing right here saying that I've got a weak connection, but I'm sitting by the router getting cancer. So yeah, this is White Claw. It's a hard seltzer. It's pretty good. I don't drink much, but saw this in the fridge. Sounded good. Plus, it's kind of got like a connotation with it. You know how like Mickey's or malt liquor has sort of an associated image. White Claw also does. Peter Dentist, good looking out. You're always, Winston's mom, this White Claw is to you and all your efforts. You look up for us douchebags. Los Angeles School District eliminated many school police officers and replaced them with climate coaches, which is even worse. I mean, I don't know if it's worse. It's equally as bad. I don't know if you want to get me started on the climate thing. What a fucking farce. The Genzennial was on. I didn't know he was on. I broke my phone. Like, it's dead. So I need to replace the. Actually, I have a practice phone right here. I'm going to try to replace the screen myself, or maybe reattach it. But I'm going to practice cutting off screens on this. I'll have to watch that though. Yeah, I haven't really checked anything in 36 hours probably. It's grapefruit. It's grapefruit flavored. Asking random strangers to teach you to dance is certainly not the worst drunk behavior in the world. Yeah, these aren't actually that sweet. It's a sweet drink, but not like it's not like a Smirnoff Ice or something. It's not that sweet. And I don't there's not really any drinks that will get me drunk unless I'm trying, right? Except for shots. I'm a big enough guy and I've got enough German and Scottish in me and I've drank enough in my life that I just don't get drunk on accident. I haven't been drunk in probably 5 years, really. I've got a Note 9, and I really don't, like, it's paid off and shit, and I don't want another payment plan. All my cars are paid off, all my phones are paid off. Like, I've got no debt at all. And I love it, except for the shit on my credit report that's been charged off, but they can fuck off for about 3 more years. I had great credit, and then I went to jail, and you can't really take care of your credit cards when you're in jail. So I'm just waiting them out. But let me find a knife so I can tinker with this while we chat. And then you want to talk about school resource officers? I know you do. Okay, school resource officers. So, um, since I'm a bucket farmer now, as you know, well, since we moved, I turned into a regular farmer. I'm phasing out the buckets, but I compost. And so I jack people's newspapers when I come across them to put in the compost. And this one caught my eye on the way into the trash, or on the way into the compost. And it's from Gladstone, Missouri. It's the Gladstone Dispatch. And the front page from September 2nd. So it's a little bit old, but it's this month. Says Sheriff's Office adds resource deputies to North Kansas City elementary schools. Now, this is not a bad part of town. It's not the richest, but it's definitely not the hood. 4 additional school resource deputies were added to serve elementary schools in the North Kansas City School District when classes start August 12th. With the continued growth of the school district, we are adding these additional deputies. This increases the number of deputies assigned to the school resources unit from 12 to 16. Previously, the sheriff SRD school resource. What's SRD stand for? School Resource Division, maybe. Anyways, previously, they only served middle schools and high schools and responded to elementary schools as needed. Gladstone Police continue to serve as the middle and elementary schools to serve at the middle and elementary schools located in Gladstone city limits. So they've got city cops and 16 sheriff's officers in the North Kansas City schools, elementary schools. I haven't read this yet, by the way, so if I'm reading slow, it's because this is not pre-digested. I read the headline, read the first paragraph, and was like, fuck these people. North Kansas City Schools is grateful for the additional school resource deputies who will be in our schools, connecting with students and providing a positive impact in their lives. North Kansas City Schools Superintendent Dan Clemens said, "This would not be possible without the strong partnership with the Sheriff's Office and the Children's Fund, blah, blah." Let's see. Quarter-cent sales tax is funding the deputies. North Kansas City Schools elementary students now will get to see their school resource, their SRD, several times a week. Each deputy will be assigned to 4 to 5 elementary schools that follow high school feeder patterns. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like they're training us to be the livestock that we are. In addition to protecting students and providing instructions, students don't need to be protected there. Protecting students and providing instruction on everything from biking safety to strangers. SRDs will work with schools to help students succeed, states the release. They will provide welfare checks and home visits to students with unexplained absences, students who haven't enrolled as expected, or students whom faculty and staff are concerned about. Lovely. They also will work alongside principals and teachers to provide alternatives to out-of-school suspensions. From biking safety to strangers, the most dangerous stranger anybody can ever fucking talk to is a cop. Is that the whole article? That is the whole article. So, I don't know if school resource officers have always done the truancy stuff. I've never had any truancy shit, neither as a student nor as a parent. I know that one year, my daughter got real close because we went to Florida that year for vacation, and vacations aren't excused absences, but you know what? They can fuck off. I'm the parent. I'll decide when my daughter can go to Florida and not. She's going to learn way more in Florida on the beach than she is going to learn in a classroom raising her hand to take a piss. So my problem here is I've got problems with all institutions, as anybody who's ever seen me before knows. But the schools in particular, I'm really not a fan of the institutions. I'm a fan of a lot of the teachers, the individuals. I'm not a fan of a handful of teachers, but institutionally, schools are a fucking problem. And I truly believe that someday we'll look back on ourselves and go, my God, we made kids from the time they were 5 till the time they were 18 sit at a desk and basically have the soul and curiosity crushed out of them from repetitive boredom during the years where they should have been learning, exploring, doing anything besides just getting bored to death and then medicated. Which, if you're not aware, ADHD meds are meth. I can say that as somebody who's been diagnosed with ADHD twice, and somebody who's got a criminal record for meth. I promise you, the two are incredibly similar, like shockingly similar. When people ask me what meth is like, I say Adderall. Have you taken an Adderall? That's the first thing I say. They're actually called amphetamine salts. If you get the Adderall generic version, it comes in a bottle. The label says it's amphetamine salts. Amphetamine salts, 20 milligrams, instant release. So I don't like institutions. I don't like schools. They're training people for prison, right? They train people to follow instructions. Don't question the instructions. Show up on time. Be bored. Don't think creatively. They deaden people. And I just thought this article was a great illustration of how much schools, how real the school to prison pipeline is. I mean, everything from the authority structure. You got the warden, you got the principal, you got the teachers, you got the COs, correction officers. You've got the inmates, the students who can't do anything without permission, who get their lockers or cars that they're old enough to get their stuff searched randomly, just like in prison. You get your cell tossed randomly. They have random cell tosses. Or cause at both places. You have the building architecture is the same. The windowless hallways, the low stone buildings with small windows, and a flat treeless yard with a chain link fence around it. I mean, it's just, and now they've got the cops in there, and the cops. This is interesting about how Additional school resource deputies will be in our schools connecting with students and providing positive impact. Something that happens a lot in jail, really it happens more in jail than in prison, is the CO on duty, if he's ambitious, or normally jails are run by sheriffs. So if a sheriff's deputy is working, the jail administrator, where I was, he was the one who would do this. But whoever it is, they'll kind of saunter around in the cell block and just kind of shoot the shit with different inmates, and you know what it is. It's the cop thing, right? You just act like you're making friendly conversation and hanging out, and really you're just fishing for information. And there's always somebody who's stupid enough to start talking. Not everybody in jail is smart. And they're doing it at schools now, which is fantastic. Elementary schools. It's fantastic that we got 16 cops walking around elementary school in a not bad part of town in a Kansas City suburb, chatting up your kids to see what information they can get. Teach your kids about cops. I taught mine about cops. Actually, she learned about cops when we got raided. When I got raided and arrested, she was there for that. Not happy about that, but she knows about cops. But a lot of kids don't. Most kids don't. If you're telling your kid the cops are the good guys, they're on your side, you're doing them a huge disservice. You really are. You don't have to tell them they're not on your side and they're bad guys. I wouldn't do that either. I mean, I'm not a childhood development expert or anything like that, but I know most parents, it seems like, want to tell their kids that the police are the good guys, and that's absolutely not the whole picture. I think that it sets kids up for trouble. It certainly sets them up for trouble. You got to tell your kids the truth and not some propaganda shit you've been fed. Cops work for the state. If you need them, call them, but the rest of the time they're not there to help you. I mean, even if you call them, they're generally not going to be there to help you. But yeah, if you don't tell your kids about the risks of talking to cops, you're doing them a disservice. And when my daughter was younger, I had the opinion that, you know what, I'm not gonna teach her to think negatively of someone or anything like that. I'll just let her figure it out on her own. But they're in elementary school talking to kids and doing the cell block cruise. So I think if I had another kid that was younger, or if my daughter was younger, if I was the parent of a younger child right now, I would tell them early. I'd tell them the minute they go to school, like, be careful talking to that cop. He's not asking you questions because he cares. But yeah, anyways, about the truancy and stuff, I don't know how these things have been handled, but when I hear that sheriffs are going to come to houses when students are absent from school, when they haven't enrolled as expected, or if there's a faculty or staff concern, which is hugely vague. I mean, I get that there's some, I don't know. That's always been there to an extent. I just don't want to see that expanding. So I don't know if that's always been that way, but if any one of you watching knows, let me know. But yeah, I don't like any of this shit. I don't want cops at the school. Maybe some schools where it's justified, where they got violence going on, but not at an elementary school in a not bad part of town. They don't need 16 fucking cops shaking down your kid for information. Let's see what's in the chat. What is the end result? More school resource officers, and they have new names for school resource officer. Your objection is more guns walking around with little training rent-a-cops. It's not so much guns don't bother me at all. I'm a big fan of guns, and I think people should own guns and know how to use guns. My problem is with the fucking. My problem is having kids having this normalized, the prison inmate mentality, and also the surveillance police state treating, just behaving like this. There's no reason for a cop to be in a school unless there is a reason for the cop to be at that school. But the pattern or the trend of just blanket or just sort of default having cops in all the elementary schools, that's too young, is unjustified. Just why? I think I don't know if I don't feel like I explained that well, but I think that you get the gist of what I'm trying to communicate. Between worrying about guns in school and COVID, everyone being contagious, these children are going to grow up wary of everything and everybody. Exactly. And they don't need to be. I mean, look at the COOF pandemic. The last year and a half, 2 years, what's been the most, the reaction has by far been the most damaging part of this whole thing, way the most harmful. And I think the real dominoes are just starting to fall, you know, the supply chain shit, the economy, the global economy. We're just beginning to hit that. As far as the COOF goes, our response is going to be what drags down the world. Whereas the thing itself, I mean, look at total death rates year over year. It's just rebranded. You know, whatever. You get what I'm saying. I'm already on 2 strikes. And yeah, I can't stand the fear thing. I can't stand the mask thing. The mask thing, I think for especially for younger kids, if you got a kid who's like going between 2 and 5 going through this, because those are the formative years, right? Those are the years when your brain's in, I think, delta waves, and you're basically in a hypnotic state, just absorbing the world around you. If you've got a kid who's living these few years during mask time, during the mask epidemic, which it is, they're going to be little psychopaths or something, or their social skills are going to be awful. Yeah, so we're going to have like a little generation there of I don't even know, but I'm glad my daughter's older than that. Anti-Fragile is a standalone book in Nassim Nicholas Taleb's landmark Incerto series, an investigation of apathy, luck, uncertainty, probability since around 2014. Kids are showing up on campus scared. Nice recommendation. That sounds like an interesting book. I've never heard of that dude, but I will look it up actually for sure. Have been showing up on campus scared and afraid and anxious and seeking safe spaces. Which, hold on, I'll finish it. Jonathan Haidt writes of this, and this book of Taleb's is so interesting. Talks about peanut allergies and how this didn't happen back when. Right, it didn't used to happen, and it's the fear culture is a nightmare. I can't stand it. Kids are showing up on campus scared, which is by design. You don't push fear that much, and unless you want people to be scared. The fact of the matter is kids should not be showing up scared. Safe spaces shouldn't be a fucking thing. Your odds of dying in a school shooting, for all the news we get about school shootings, it's a really small percentage of gun deaths. Very unlikely. Just when it does happen, hugely publicized. And then when it's not happening, it's still brought up all the time in context of both mental health and gun control. And I have my own, well, it's not my own. I'm in the camp that believes that these random shootings are not random and they're not civilian, basically. They are false flag. It's a Hegelian dialectic. Create the problem, so they demand the solution that you want, the solution that you want. And something else about the fear. Oh, and I think that social media, from what I understand, social media is a big contributor to kids' anxiety and stuff. But I also want to point out that misinformation has always been dangerous. Always. There's nothing new in the danger sphere to make it more dangerous now. There's always been dangerous misinformation. So that argument for censorship is invalid. Which beach in Florida? I'm a Florida girl, grew up in Sarasota, lived in Tampa Bay. I got married in Clearwater, on Clearwater Beach. Assigned to MacDill and lived in St. Pete. That's it. By Fort DeSoto, where they are looking for Gabby's boyfriend. I'm not paying attention to that show. I know that show. Freudian slip. I know what you're talking about. I'm not paying attention to that because it's not news. It's a TV drama, and it's absolutely a distraction from something. Probably the economic collapse around the world. My children arrived right in the middle of the big pharma push. Take the children to the doctors, and they want to give them meds for everything. Yeah, I'm so far over big pharma and the medical industry in general. I don't have health insurance. I have no desire for it. I'm not going near a hospital unless I get blown up and they need to stitch me back together, but I'm not, no. And I didn't like them before, when people start going to the doctor regularly, even if it's just for checkups, not even going in with problems, they start getting prescriptions, and one prescription turns into 3 prescriptions, and it escalates, and they get sicker, and hospitals don't promote health. How about that? Especially not now. So I don't want to take any of their poisons. I've noted, especially not anything long term. And that's always been my big objection to antidepressants, is that they work through addiction. You have to. I had my old doctor, the doctor who gave me the. I don't know. Probably you don't know this. When I went to rehab during all the cop and drug shit, all the drama in my life, during that period, I went to rehab, and I'd been on Klonopin, which is benzodiazepine, for 2.5, 3 years. And when I was getting ready to check in rehab, they said, if you have prescriptions that are narcotic, bring them, check them in at the desk. We'll give them to you. So I got there, and it's totally twacked out, but I got there, gave my pills, got checked in, and when they took the pills and they said, all right, this is, you're not going to be taking these. I said, what? So you're not going to be taking those. So I detoxed from a few things that week. But Klonopin is by far, bar none, the worst withdrawal I've ever had from anything. There's a whole week I spent in the detox wing that I don't remember. It is incredible. I mean that in a bad way, but it's one of the two. It's only benzodiazepines and alcohol the withdrawals can kill you. Only two things. So, and that's what was pushed. Anyways, my doctor gave me these. I didn't request them, but I recognized that they were a benzo. They had some utility, as a recreation or a chill pill. I was getting divorced. Like, okay, I could use some chill pills. I had no idea that they have 72-hour half-life and they stay in your system even when you're not on them. But anyways, where's I going with it? That doctor. So the same doctor who gave me these fucking gems tried to give me antidepressants as well. And I told him I'm not depressed. He said, well, you're getting divorced, and they're not even really for depression. They're for everything. They just balance you out. They just, everything will just kind of balance. Like, what the fuck does that mean? This is a very specific regimen of medicine regimen for a very non-specific benefit. Or, just take these better pills. They make things better. But anyways, I kind of grilled him a little bit because I was irritated. Like, I tried not to show, but I was irritated that he was pushing this shit on me because I know that they get, the drug companies come out and talk to the doctors and go, hey, blah, 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 do this. Well, he's pushing this shit on me and I don't like it. And he said, this is after I'd been on Klonopin for a minute. He said, we can phase you off the Klonopin and we can use these instead. I said, I don't have depression. I don't want antidepressants. And the Klonopin is fine. He said, well, these aren't addictive. I said, they're not addictive. No. So when I take it, does it start working? Like an aspirin for headache. Does it work when you take it? Oh, no, you got to take them for 30 days. Oh, so it doesn't work. Okay. It's got to build up in you. Can I... so I can't, if I got to take them for 30 days to build them up in my system, I already know that I can't just take the medicine when I observe the symptom. No, you got to keep it. You got to keep it in your system all the time. So can I quit when I want? Oh, no, you have to talk to me first. We'll wean you off. I said, and you want to do these instead of the Klonopins because these are not addictive. Right. I said, look, motherfucker, these are addictive. They work through addiction. You're prescribing me an addiction. Just because it's not euphoric doesn't mean it's not an addiction. What you're saying is you want to get me addicted to this. You want to give me an addiction, but not the high. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Anyways, that's my sidebar about that shit. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the healthcare industry at all right now. So social contract, that is what he talked about. Society is not good, pushes people onto the hamster wheel. I agree. People are good until society intervenes, he wrote. Okay, I won't object to it. The people are good seemed like kind of a blanket thing. I don't think people are good or bad. I think that there's both. There's both in the world and there's both in every individual. Also, the erection officers. You mean the guys that come around and make sure you don't have a boner? The Stanford prison experiment. Yes, I am. I am. I learned about that a long time ago. And then, it's one of those things you learn about and then you forget about. And then, it just kind of leaves your brain because it's not relevant. And then when they implemented a mask mandate here, I remember seeing that and going, oh, good luck. Yeah, right. They're going to be able to get people wear masks everywhere. And boom, everybody's wearing a mask. And I went, I remember that. And then it jumped back in my head, and all of a sudden I remembered it. Problematic as far as its validity is questionable, or as far, or are you saying that its outcome or its results were problematic to the people funding it, so they didn't buy any more? I think that if it's the first one that you're saying is problematic because it's not verified, I mean, look around though. It's been verified, maybe not in a peer-reviewed paper, but truth happens outside of the peer review process. I don't know if everybody knows that anymore. It seems like there's a lot of people who don't believe anything is real unless you can provide a peer-reviewed paper. Do you mean that Barney 5 is not really going to tuck you, and Aunt B is not going to bring you fresh pie? I don't know the reference, but that is true. You don't get all those things. Maybe you can get a honey bun off commissary, but they're expensive. It's hard to deliver jokes through text. I run into that obstacle a lot, especially since I can be sarcastic. Sarcasm doesn't convey in text either, and no matter how much, no matter how extreme you make it, right? Like no matter how over the top you make the sarcasm, people still don't get it if it's in text. I know you can put the little /s/, but who wants to do that? I know it's such propaganda. Like it really is such propaganda to think that doctors, cops, and who else is praised? Teachers. All of the institutional cogs, I guess, for lack of a better word, all the cogs in the big institutional wheels get praised. Doctors, nurses, cops, teachers. They're good and bad in all the professions. I believe that there are fewer good people in policing than any of the others, by probably a pretty wide margin, because I think that you can't be a cop. You can't work in law enforcement unless you have fucked up morals, basically. At best, you're confused about good and bad or right and wrong. And at worst, you get a lot of motherfuckers who just got something to prove. But I don't see how anybody can spend their career terrorizing addicts and homeless and poor people, and on behalf of the state, you terrorize this disadvantaged group so that you can bill the rich people to terrorize them. It's a pretty disgusting system, and I think that you cannot be in that line of work unless you've got your morals are crossed up and you're confused, at least. Now the caveat would be, the exception would be like specific departments, right? Like if you're in the child crimes division, okay, you get a pass. If you're violent crimes detective, you get a pass, right? Because they're solving crimes with actual victims, which is legitimate. But if you're a beat cop, you don't get a pass. Sorry. Putting aside the obvious problem with thinking you're helping someone, especially at the age these people begin their careers. The main motivation for their career is money. For doctors it is, and status. I think, in my opinion, most of the doctors I've met, I think that status is much bigger motivator than money. Really, you got to go to a lot of school. That's a big expense. You got to either come from money or you got to be willing to put yourself in some serious debt to become a doctor. I think it's status. It's status for doctors, power for cops, and teachers and nurses. It's probably a bigger mix. I think it's 5 schools. I mean, I don't know. Let's find out. It has 20,342 students in grades pre-K through 12th. It says North Kansas City School District is a highly rated public school district. And then like 2 sentences later, it says, according to state test scores, 49% of students are at least proficient in math, 52% in reading. So half your students are not proficient in math and reading. Bitch, you failed. Stay back a grade. So there's 20,000 students and all the things. I don't have this split out, but that gives you a size, some perspective on the school district. Exactly. Your words, not mine, though. I've already got 2 strikes. Yeah, I mean, I know it's gonna come because I remember a few years ago being shocked at hearing me being my dad. I think they were. Absolutely think they were. Yep. And in a similar vein, there are more lightning strike deaths than there are coof deaths amongst, was it children under 18? So all these kids walking around wearing masks in schools, fuck that. They should be, I don't know what you'd wear to save you from a lightning strike. There are more deaths by coconut. They should wear helmets so they don't get hit by coconuts. You woke on the JQ. I don't know what the JQ is. But I want to know what the JQ is. You know, I've never been to a chiropractor, but I've got a good impression of him. Really, from people who go to them, I've heard good things about them. I would next time I have something I need to see a doctor for that's not life threatening, I'll probably try a chiropractor first, honestly. And it sounds like chiropractic school gives you way more medical and health information than you would think for like a back doctor. Somebody pops your back. I know about clonazepam. Yeah, it was clonazepam. I went to my doctor for restless leg, and he gave me these. I didn't want to see him every 3 months, so I went off them. And boy, are they hard to kick after 3 months. Yeah, I was on them for 3 years. Yeah, they were. It was not good. I didn't feel. It probably took me 6 months to stabilize all the way, maybe more, but yeah, they had a long effect, a bad one. Like that was a purely physical addiction. Most of my addictions in life have been much more mental than physical. Not this one. Yeah, I went in right before I filed for divorce. I kind of had enough and started, like a couple times. It happened twice where I just kind of blacked out. Like if something, and both times I got mad, and I was surprised. The catalyst for this happening was an incident that both surprised me and made me angry. So I wasn't expecting to get angry, and then it blindsided me. But twice I blacked out and did stuff. Once and the last time, right before I made the appointment with this doctor, and he gave me these, I came home from Taco Bell. I got food from Taco Bell, and we had some friends in town from Tampa. So I got food from me, my wife at the time, and our two friends, a couple. And I don't remember. They didn't have what my ex-wife wanted, or something like that. Basically, I got her the wrong thing, and no, that's not right. I got not that it matters. She didn't know I was going to Taco Bell. I just got her food. So I thought I'm doing something thoughtful, like I was just going to get me food, but here you go. I got you this. Well, I handed whatever to her, something that she always got, or something that she normally ate, and it wasn't what she wanted. And she had a really snotty, like, cunty response, and I just blacked out, and I was holding a nacho cheese chalupa, and I threw it at her. And it missed her, but it exploded all over the wall, right behind the couch that our friends were sitting on. And when I came back to a minute later, I looked around, and everybody's just like, and our friends were sitting on the couch, just like in nacho cheese, just like this. So that's why those things quit once I filed for divorce. Yes, they are. And they're not even good Band-Aids. They're like Band-Aids that are rubbed around in dirt. So it might protect it for now, but you're going to get an infection. Yeah, I never watched that. Yeah, you're probably right. But I mean, And we need people like that, right? We need people who are loyal to things, and we need people who do clerical things. I mean, we need all these types of people, but in the right now world where our institutions are fucked, you got a bunch of people who are kind of institutionally minded doing a lot of fuck shit. And if you watch the recent Project Veritas thing on Johnson & Johnson, you can see that it's just like everywhere you go, it's every institution. We got these massive institutions that are full of individuals who don't like the institutional direction, but nevertheless are helping perpetuate it. And I think that's most pronounced in cops. Well, no, because cops convince themselves that they're heroes, and they really should. And that a family is really better off having the dad and husband go to prison for 15 years than to not go to prison and be high. For doctors, okay. Yeah, I could give you that. For nurses, I would say not. I was pleased to see how many nurses have been fired recently. Not because I want anybody to get fired and lose their job, even though it can be a huge blessing in disguise, but because it means that people are sticking to their guns quite a bit. That's good. I support that. If you've got an employer who's trying to put you in that situation, don't even worry about keeping that job. You're not gonna see eye to eye with that employer ever again. Interesting. No, they're not. It does imply some could be more than. 49% are at least adequate. So that means 51% are, there are 51% who are adequate and better. If I remember the numbers right. But yeah, it does imply some could be more. But it's given in the percentage. A Faraday cage. They would. I mean, they would. Cops for sure would. Cops have no problem enforcing immoral laws, right? They have no problem being the victimizer. You know, every time you get stopped at a DUI checkpoint, you're getting your Fourth Amendment right blatantly violated. Blatantly. None of these cops give a fuck. I don't think that's an accident. I don't think it's an accident that you have such regular and routine cop activities where they normalize violating people's rights. They certainly have no issue harming people. In fact, a lot of them want to. They want, and you can see that all over. There's a million videos with cops shooting suspects in the back or whatever. A lot of these cops want an excuse for violence. That's why they get into law enforcement. I know that I've had guns pulled on me several times, and it's always, if you have just a regular person pull a gun on you, in my experience, more than half of them are scared, right? You can see the fear in their eyes because they don't want to do anything. Normally they're scared and they got themselves in a pinch and they don't want to have their bluff called. They don't want to have to make the decision whether or not they're bluffing. They don't want to be in the situation they're in. Cops never have that. Cops always have, yeah, I'm good at reading people's micro expressions and body language shit. Cops are wanting, most of them want, in my experience, most of them want an excuse, right? Yeah. They're looking for a reason. So it's way scarier to have a cop aiming a gun at you than it is to have anybody else. And what the fuck is up with cop cars keep getting douchier? Now they got cop cars that are like black and it says police in dark gray lettering. My buddy got pulled over by a cop car that had in the back window, it had one of those family stick figure stickers. You know, it's got the mom, the dad, the kids, the dog, and little stick figures. Had that on his back windshield. Like, what the fuck is this? To think that cops serve and protect anybody besides the government they serve is a fucking farce. They don't at all. A couple of years ago, I was late to work because the battery in my car died. A cop drove down the street. I flagged him down, right? It's 7 a.m, trying to get to work. I said, hey, my car's not going, or my battery's dead. I have these cables hooked up. I've just been waiting for somebody to drive by. Can you give me a jump? And they looked at me and they said, oh no, it's against department policy to help to jumpstart vehicles, and took off. Well, you mean it's against the department policy to help disabled motorists? I mean, I was in my driveway, but that's not what they said was against the policy. You know, it's not people in the driveways to give people jump starts. Really? Well, good for you for sticking to your shit. I suggest getting fired and not quitting. Make them fire you. Get that unemployment. Record it on your phone, but don't let them know. I mean, that's a pretty regular. I do it with cops. Anytime I'm like getting pulled over or about to interact with a cop, I start recording. I start the video recording, and I just put my phone somewhere, like in a cup holder, somewhere nondescript, so that they don't really think about it. And they don't know it's recording. If they know you're recording, they're going to make you shut it off. They might take it, but if they don't know you're recording, then you're Gucci. And actually, I have a case right now that I'm fighting in court. Well, I have a warrant for failure to appear for a case that I'm taking to trial because I have video proof that I wasn't doing nothing. So yeah, do that with your boss though. I don't know who Dallas is. I might be missing some comments. I didn't see Upton Plates' comment that you're responding to, I don't think. Huh. Yeah, no, I don't have Upton Plates' comment. If I'm missing comments and there's something you want me to, that you think I might have missed, that you want to repost, go ahead and repost it, and I'll try to not do it. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, the internet at this new place is not nearly as good as the Google Fiber I had at the last place. So I guess I'm going to have to spend more money and get and upgrade my internet package, which is fucking lovely. There's Upton plates. Oh yeah, I did see it. Upton plates comments. I just didn't realize it was Upton plates. Trying to get caught up on these. I never can. Once the comments get away from me, I am never able to actually catch up. Sometimes I just jump up, but yeah, I've been listening to a little bit of astrology YouTube videos, and looks like we're in for a wild rest of the year. Mostly, I mean, like this month to that month could be relative, but sounds like we're gonna close out the year in a dramatic fashion. Of course, I'm more interested in Vedic astrology. I don't really know much about astrology at all, but Vedic seems like way more accurate anecdotally. Part of the reason I never gave a shit about astrology is because I'd read this stuff. In Western, I'm Sagittarius. I'd read this stuff and I'd go, kind of maybe, but it just didn't actually resonate with me any more than just any other thing would average, right? If you read any type description, you can find enough stuff in it to go, okay, well, yeah, I could see that, I guess. But Vedic creeped me the fuck out. It's like, whoa, this shit is on point and it's granular. Teasing you gently. Winston's mom is teasing you gently. Sounds like a porno or something. A good porno. I'd watch it. I'm going to try that. I just so happen to have silver. Right before I started the stream, I was looking at SD Bullion has 10-ounce bars on sale. And I like 10-ounce bars. Like it's become sort of my favorite size, I guess. Size and shape. I've heard you can make private lives while you're recording police so that if your phone is taken, the video has already been saved. I'm sure you can. Oh, yeah. With StreamYard, private live streams. Yeah, you're right. I guess I don't know. I've only ever done live streams through StreamYard, and you can do unlisted live streams. You can. But you've got to get into it. You have to set it up, right? Whereas with most recorder apps, you just have to, you've got the icon on your desktop. I'm not quick enough on the draw. I don't think to set that up. So I just I just do the recorder. Cops don't take your phone. Like, I've never I've never had my phone taken and like searched, except for the times that I was raided on a search warrant. And of course, they're going to take everything. They took everything, all the electronics, and send them up to the lab. But you know, if the interaction is coincidental, right? If you get busted doing something, or however, they generally don't fuck with your cell phone. At least in my experience, they never have. Steve Judd. Never heard of him. I'll look him up. January 17th. This is true. So in Vedic, in Western, I'm a Sagittarius and a Sun. I don't remember what the rest are, because I never thought much of it. But in Vedic, I'm a Scorpio Sun, and then I'm Aries Moon and Aries Rising. I don't remember what's in what house or with the lords. Like I really don't know anything about astrology, as far as how to do it or interpret. I can't read a chart. I don't know what a house is. I just know that I can put in the inputs, and whether it's a report that's generated, or an NFJ chick who's into the woo woo, I can get information back that's solid. But yeah, I'm my big three: the Sun, Moon, Rising, Scorpio Sun, and then Aries. I don't remember what Scorpio is. Maybe it's water. It's not fire, because Aries is fire. And I wasn't straight fire, I don't think. I don't know. Winston's mom will know. Danista, is that Nakshatra? I'm Ashwini Nakshatra, which is K2. I think that's how that works. Like a nakshatra is part of the K2 cluster. Like there's 3 nakshatras in each, or not K2. I don't know. You know what I mean, Winston's mom. I think that Ashwini is a subset of whatever K2 is. It's like the subdivision in the town or something. Upton Place. That is not enough information. I don't think Winston's mom, have you done my chart? I don't think you have. Or maybe you did, but you didn't give it to me. I think I gave you my information. Yeah, KRS is good. Mars dominant. Aries is Mars, right? Actually, is kind of interesting when I about a month and a half ago, I was talking. Somehow, I was talking to a handful of people, including my ex-wife, and somehow astrology came up, and I said, and well, her brother said something about me being a Scorpio, and she goes, and my ex-wife went, he's a Sagittarius, and that's when I told her about the Vedic thing. In Vedic astrology, which is better, in my opinion, I'm a Scorpio. And she went, oh my God. She kind of flipped out. She's like, that fits so much better. And it always bothered me that you're not a Sagittarius. I didn't even know that she was very into astrology. I was like, it always bothered you, really? Apparently it had. And she was very relieved to find out about this because it explained a lot of things. Then she learned that she's not whatever she thought she's. Then she learned she may have been mistaken about her type, and I think that gave her a little bit of a identity crisis. But whatever, I don't know how that played out. I guess she's fine. I am. What time is it? I should go to bed, but really, all I wanted to do is smoke a cigarette. I was gonna say I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I'll be right back, but I think the responsible thing would be to go to bed. Here, I'm gonna type it in the chat right now. What's his mom? See, this is a fantastic example. Thank you for giving me a good example. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that to me? Or okay, that's fine. And my email address is in the description of the description box of most videos. But there it is again. Anyway. Something else that I think is cool because it's a master number, and that sounds awesome, is my numerology number. I think it's called Life Path. Anyways, I'm in numerology. I'm an 11, and I was born on the 11th. So bow down. I'm a master number. I'm royalty amongst numbers. And I got that way by circumstance of being born due to no actions of my own, just like royalty. Yee, master number. I can't seem to master these fucking smartphones, though. No karmic debt. Does that mean that so you never had like I don't know, you never got raided by the police, I guess? Someone else who I had kind of go through a lot of the Vedic stuff with me, she said that period when I was in jails and rehabs and all that stuff, she said that was the roughest part of that looked like the roughest part of my karmic stuff, and she didn't think that I'd have to really deal with anything like that again, so that was relieving. I guess 27 or 28, right around there is when a lot of shit for a lot of people gets dealt with. I'm not gonna be able to re-explain it right, but the gist is that it's like the closing of the first period of your life or something, and so before you go into the next one, a lot of people deal with a lot of karmic shit right there. I don't know. It made sense to me. We are talking about astrology again. We are. You know, if I bring it up at all, and this is partially, well, it's not just Winston's mom, but it certainly is. It appears that the people who show up to my live streams are into astrology, which I don't know enough about to make a video about, even if I wanted to. Like, I don't have the knowledge. Fucking imagine that. Imagine thinking that any of this is real. Dark Moon Lilith. I know about Lilith as in Adam's first wife. I mean, I know not intimately, but I mean, like, I know the story of Adam's wife, or first wife, basically. I don't know what Dark Moon Lilith is. That's a phrase I've never heard. My unexplored sexuality. There are lots of things. If you go to Pornhub and look at the categories, there are a lot of things in sexuality that I have not explored and have no intention of exploring. It turns out that at the end of the day, I'm not actually as kinky as I am horny. So there's a lot of things there. There's a lot of subgenres that I intend to leave unexplored for the rest of my life. I think she means intuitive in the general parlance and not intuitive in the typology sense. The two are different, and actually, I don't know that I think they're always very well that they might not even be correlated. So, by on top, do you mean like cowgirl, or do you mean like pegging? I feel like on top is a fine. Because conspiracy theories are real. Random name. I get it. I know that that conspiracies in general are less frequent than my mind would tend to make them, but they're way more frequent than the general public makes them. Is the moon always your black Lilith? Yeah, I don't know if I have a black Lilith moon. Black moon Lilith, I probably do. I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. But Winston's mom, you're welcome to poke around and find out where my repressed sexuality is. It's in your butt and it's not repressed anymore. Just kidding. It's not. You'd know. I wouldn't have to tell you. I am going to go smoke a cigarette and like grab a granola bar or something. I'm probably not gonna be on much later, but I got a little bit left in me probably if y'all are still here in a few minutes when I get back. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share a link to the channel. I'm going to answer this question. Interesting topic. I mean, not. We'll talk about this in a second. In the meantime, like, subscribe if you haven't, and share a link to the channel with 2 people. And it can be anybody you want. It can be strangers. It can be your mom. Send your mom a link to the channel because your mom will love this. She'll love what I got for her. I always leave your mom happy. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Well, basically, everyone's still here. And I'm still drinking my White Claw because I forgot all about it. I set it behind the computer screen. Y'all should smash some Claw. Upton plates, I know that you've got White Claw. Anybody with the handle Upton plates has White Claw in his fridge. All right, where was I? How do I feel about pronouns? I think that it is an obnoxious, woke behavior that is actually not intended to make people feel included. It's a social hoop to jump through and sort of a means of excluding people who aren't willing to play the game. But however, I mean, let me back up to the beginning and say that I do think that if somebody asks you to call them by a certain pronoun, you're not obligated to, but it's kind of rude not, I would, let me put it that way. I would at least make an effort to try to remember, which I'm not great at, but it's certainly not. I mean, the whole pronoun mindset goes right along with the microaggressions mindset and it's the group guilt mindset. So I'm not about it. And well, whatever, I'm just not about it. So Winston's mom's getting into everyone's business. Or random name could be Czech, because I think it's Czech. I'm a quarter Czech, but it's in Czechoslovakia. I'm pretty sure where the Church of Bones or whatever it is, that church has got all the bones and skulls and shit like stacked up in the basement. Prague. I think it's in Prague. Do you like music? Jazz. I know it's not to me, but I don't like jazz. I do like music. I don't like jazz. I think TI is objective while TE is subjective. I made a whole video about this topic actually a while back. If you're interested, look in the personality type playlist. I think that'd be the fastest way to find it, is the personality type playlist. It might be in the socionics playlist too, but I can't remember. I think yes. My answer to that is yes. Objective. TI is objective. Okay, I read that wrong. Do you think TI is objective while TE is subjective? So I disagree. I don't know if you watch like TWFP or whatever. I disagree with Eric, for instance, when he says that TI is objective, TE is subjective, because he's missing the context entirely. In typology, these words have definitions within the system, right? So objective means something different in type than it does externally of type. So I think TI is objective in the common parlance sense of the word, in that it does attempt to remove any personal bias, right? It tries to make things as detached as possible. But I also think TI is subjective in the Jungian sense, which is it's not dependent on the external validation, I guess, for lack of a better word. So yeah, it's both objective and subjective, depending on how you're using the word. Well, hello. How is the fjord? I think that's it. Mm-mm. Not fun. Don't recommend it. Hi, Susie. It's like an AA meeting. Does everyone know Susie? Is this your first time here? Introduce yourself. My name's Susie, and I'm addicted to vapes. Exactly. All the inclusivity points or behaviors, all the inclusivity bullshit is not. It's about the opposite. It's upside down. It's about exclusive. It's about excluding people and and dividing people into us and them, and race baiting and gender baiting and orientation baiting. I mean, it's just divisive. Let's focus on our differences. The only thing that matters in woke culture and the pronoun people is our differences amongst amongst axes that really say nothing about you, your character, your intellect, your values. It's toxic. And I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. Yeah, I wouldn't use any besides male or female either. Actually, now that I say that, I'm not getting into Z or gender has become such a diluted topic that it doesn't matter anymore. If gender isn't biological sex, it is, and it is how you feel. Then it doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck how you feel. Nobody gives a fuck how you feel. What you feel like? You feel like a cupcake today? My gender is cupcake. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, I mean, gender has really become pointless. It doesn't matter. If it is what they say it is, then it's no business of mine. I don't care that you're a microphone boom arm today. This is my gender. I'm a microphone boom. Okay. Yes, it is. Or I mean, yes, it does. I mean, there are people who I think that there are asexual people who have, but I don't think it's a norm. I mean, it's not asexual. Isn't another gender. It's I don't know a lot about it, but the impression I'm under is that somebody who's asexual either has like a biological hormone issue or has had trauma. I did not know that about ferrets. Of course, I've never had a ferret. I wanted to get a ferret when I was a kid, but my mom said, no, they stink. And now that I'm an adult, she's right. I don't want one. I don't actually remember if does socionics even address objective and subjective in that sense. I know that there's rational and irrational, but it's not describing the same thing. And what happened to Wiki Socion? Has anybody else noticed that Wiki Socion, which I fucking loved, the website's been down or something for a little bit? It's tragic. You can identify as cat, dog in your pronouns. You don't have to decide one or the other. This is your gender. This is how you feel. And you can change it whenever you like because nobody can tell you how you feel. Whatever he's going back to, I mean, I've argued with him about this shit before. He knows how I feel about it. I think he's just trying to score wins on technicalities, to be completely honest. Like, I've told him this, what I think about it before, right? The word has two different meanings in different contexts. So you're right and you're wrong. I know he's smart enough to understand me, but he's not agreeing with me. He basically dismisses that and just insists that it's rational or it's objective, you know, which is yeah, I think he's just trying to score wins on technicalities or something. I don't know, but he's definitely smart enough to understand what I'm saying and why I'm right. Oh, I don't. That's tight. I remember I got the Pure Funk album. I wanted it. I asked for it. I got it for Christmas one year. Like, I don't know when that was. I was young. I probably still have that CD somewhere. I mean, again, my answer to this is going to be the same, that you have to tell me which sense you mean objective in. Is it Jungian or is it not Jungian? But it's not a judging function in type, so it would not be either one of those in the Jungian sense. I would agree. I don't know in the normal sense, because my own experience with NI is, yeah, it's a weak function for me. I don't know. I want to agree. I'm inclined to agree it's objective. True NI, I think, is objective. Yes. I think that a lot of I think people mistake not NI for NI a lot, but I don't know. It's a difficult one to answer. I mean, SE is the most direct. It's uninfluenced information, right? I mean, SE is the information your senses take in. SI is the information your senses take in, filtered through how it impacts you. The intuitions are other information that you take in, but both of them, especially NE, it seems like to me, but both of SE has the least the user has the least impact on the information incoming, if that makes sense. So I think that I would definitely consider SE the most objective. Yep, I absolutely agree with this. It's hugely narcissistic. I mean, basically, all of woke culture and it's all narcissistic. It's all authoritarianist and state. I mean, it suppresses or devalues the individual, right? That's why I'm so far right. I'm an anarchist. I don't believe in government or any or violent authority at all. The more left you go, the more sort of a narcissistic approach to life it is, because it assumes that the user knows best, whether the user is sort of mentally approaching it through a proxy, which I think that people who support things like communism and all the other isms, well, not all the Marxist school of thought, I think that I think it's a narcissistic perspective, right? It says, I know what's better for you and how you should live. It tells the other person how to live, but it does it through a proxy. I don't know. That's just kind of how I view it. Demisexuality. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's when you got the emotional connection. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a real thing for a lot of people, mostly women, especially women. But it's not an orientation. I'm not really. I don't want more pets. We got 2 cats. I didn't want cats. I didn't want anything, but we have 2 cats. I feel like that's enough. Clean your nasty ass keyboard. Yeah, and socionics doesn't do the objective subjective. I was thinking the same thing, but when you get caught in that thing, it's like you start second guessing yourself. I was like, fuck, well, did I forget about it? But yeah, socionics doesn't do that. And to be completely honest, I don't know that I think MBTI objective subjective. I don't think that distinction adds anything to the system. I don't think it's of value. I don't think it adds understanding or insight or clarity. I mean, maybe it might help people understand the system a little bit, but I think it's kind of a useless facet of functions that people get hung up on. Again, because the terminology is the familiar words with unfamiliar applications, and so everybody's just getting stuck on semantics. Yeah. I've never read that. I should. I've been buying books sort of compulsively lately, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, and Amazon is basically the book industry now, and that is unsettling to me. So I've been trying to buy hard copies of books, and I have bought a lot of books. You can get a lot of books for pretty cheap, especially if you go to used bookstores or thrift stores or whatever. I try not to support Amazon at all, but I will put that on my book list and see if I can find it at a reasonable price. I've been watching Golenko's book, his newest one. Kind of waiting for it to get cheaper than, I don't remember what it was, like $35. I think it was the cheapest I found it, something like that. But yeah, I'll check that out. It's one of those things where I've wanted to do it anyways. It's like I really need to read this book, and then I just don't. Yes. Logic is detached. It is impersonal. Is it more abstract than? I don't know if thinking is than feeling. Yeah, thinking is more abstract than feeling, and that feeling is more visceral. It's also mathematical, because really TI, I mean, it revolves around the process. It's like the process of elimination, or a flow chart, or abiding by the rule of non-self contradiction. I mean, all these things are great ways to sum up what it is to TI. It is problematic. It is problematic, assuming any function is objective, because they're all information elements that are taken in and or processed by the individual, which is not an objective entity. Also, something else that's problematic is to think that, or is to treat individual functions as independent operators, which everybody does all the time, myself included. But it's wrong. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll agree. But Suze, what if I went this time? And your sexy young man Abe. If you guys don't know, Susie's boyfriend is like 20. She's like my age. She's robbing the cradle. She got a young Latino lover. That is correct. What does it look like to me? It looks like people can just know things that there's no way to know. That's what it looks like to me. It looks shiny. It looks like tarot cards. It looks like yeah, it looks like knowing shit you can't possibly know. Any display of SE. I don't know if you were here earlier for the taco show where I threw my nacho cheese chalupa across the room and splattered it all over the people on the couch. Would that have impressed you? It was a hard throw. It was good. It exploded the nacho cheese chalupa. Cheese was everywhere. There's cheese all over the family room. Yeah, communism has it's great at observing problems and then absolutely as bad as it could get at suggesting solutions. I think that I don't think Marx even wrote that shit himself. I think that he was fed that stuff from Jesuits. Yeah, that's a great definition. Where did you get the book? I mean, not just, but probably not. The way you phrase that question makes me think that no, he didn't just do another. You already know about it. I just haven't read it yet. I'll be happy to find. I can't even remember her name. Stratayevsky. It's a long ass Russian name that looks like it would probably sound sort of like Stratayevsky. She does the best fucking type descriptions and most in-depth sort of interaction explanations. Is like narratives. Really good. I really like her. But when Wikisocian was down, it was really hard to find her. You know, it's a hard ass word to try to remember how to spell, and then hope you land on the right obscure Russian And it's just so yeah. Because heterosexuals are attracted to the opposite sex. Homosexuals, the same sex, bisexuals, both sexes. Demisexuals is a different metric. It doesn't say what sex you're attracted to. It just means you need this element in your mix for there to be a sexual attraction. It's a qualifying characteristic of a sexual orientation. Basically, it's not an orientation in and of its rights, or in and of, you get what I'm saying. It's not its own orientation. It doesn't say what sex you're attracted to. It's just Abraham is amazing. God, that's so young. The world is fucked right now. I don't know what it's like in the fjord with all the bullshit that's going on, but you should do it the other way around, and you should come to the land of relatively less bad lockdowns, relatively, depending on where you live. Maybe not where Abe lives. LA is not no bueno, but I'd probably rather live here than there right now, at least from the impression I have of what all was going down in Europe. I would not want to be in Australia. I understand that. I've read Jung's explanation of what NI is more times than anything else he's written, probably. When I answered the question, I was answering from how I experience it, not from what it is. So, personally, anecdotally, it looks like magic to me. Pizza roll. Mm-hmm. Yes, she is. Oh, right on. ESITI is, well, let me back up. ESIs and LSIs are both slow and precise, much more than they are, like me. I'm fast and imprecise, but ESI use of TI is very much the same way. It's slow to reach the TI conclusion, slower to communicate it, but once it gets there, it's locked in. I assume that I don't know if you know, but my girlfriend, maybe you do. My girlfriend is an ESI, and I found that while she won't go to TI obviously as quickly as I will. She can certainly follow along with it, right? Since I go to TI a lot, she has to interact with it a lot. she doesn't have trouble. She's not going to initiate much of it, but when that's the page we're on, when that's the song we're playing, she doesn't have trouble keeping up with it. My ex-wife was in an SEE. She could not TI with me a bit. She did not know what the fuck this logic stuff was. Big problem. ESI doesn't have those problems. They're not going to go there first, but they respect it. She respects it. She appreciates that I do it for us, and she follows it. When she does TI on her own, it's a slower process. I don't know about it until it's afterward, until she's done processing it and then tells me about it. And when she does that, when she, draws her own TI conclusions, she's always right, really. Like yeah. So it's kind of a meandering way to say, it's not their first go-to, but they're not bad with it, in my experience. And nor has it worked anywhere else under anyone else since. Oh, yeah, it does. Let me clean that up. Good looking out. Hide. Well, you just got to get a fake test, don't you? Well, we're locked down to international travel, I guess, but we got a big country. I've only been outside of it once. Here where I'm at in Kansas City, we're not technically we still have mask mandates, but all the businesses basically have non-enforcement policies this time around. Every now and then you get a douche, but mostly I never wear one, never. And I don't really get anything more than a dirty look at, but I didn't really much before either, because nobody's actually scared of the coof, and people are more reluctant to be a dickhead to a grown-ass man than they are to women and children, for instance. Right, which is the SC. And NI is on a much longer time frame than SE is. I, being the opposite, you definitely could slow down and think out longer, I think. But I don't know, maybe not. Why can't you enter under any circumstances? We're not all the way locked down, are we? I don't think we are. But you'd know better than I. You can always come up through the southern border, go to Mexico, find a coyote, become a sex trafficking victim on your way to America. Well, there you have it. I told you there's the southern border. The guy, I'm buying a new truck. The guy I'm getting it from is from Mexico. I can ask him if he knows any coyotes to bring you over. Social distancing was always a fucking joke. Well, maybe you want to go there. Yeah, all right. Well, have Abe come there. Could be that. Right. I know. The way that these coof numbers come out are so retaliatory. And what was it? I can't remember what specifically it was, but DeSantis did something in Florida. I think that right after he like made it illegal for cruise ships to require vaccines or something to do with that. Right after that, they have that high rise collapse. Oh my God, this huge building in Miami just fell the fuck down on itself. You're right. Yeah, that would be a super cringe pair. I've never made a passport. I've faked a lot of documents. I've never made a passport, though. How does beta duality not sound believable? The media here is such shit. I assume it's like that everywhere, but it's certainly in America, the media. I mean, the problem is that people think it's real. People don't realize that it's not real. These people are not there. You ever pay for the news? Nobody pays for the news, right? I mean, maybe you have a little subscription to something or whatever, but the amount of information available that's compiled and written and presented to you, like all that shit's free to you, to the consumer. Who's paying for this enormous apparatus to give you free information? The people who want to control what you think, of course. Well, shit, I want to go to Norway. I didn't know Norway was based like that. I think it's absolute garbage. I'm not surprised by it, and I think that I like for more reasons than I'm gonna go into. Mostly because I'm getting off and going to bed soon. But there's not a single redeeming or legal or ethical thing about. I mean, it's just maybe not legal. I don't know, but it is absolute garbage from top to bottom. And I think that people who support it are also garbage. I'll go ahead and throw that one out there. Find a new job. Get out of there. Don't let them shoot you up with poison so that you can work as a corporate slave in a company that, like, and I don't know if you were here earlier, anybody whose employer is trying to force them to get this, you'll never be able to work there again if you don't want it. Like, even if you get it, forget it. That will peel the rose tinting off your glasses having a relationship like that with your employer. It's not going to be a good one. You just gotta realize that this is the death of being part of that system and find something else. You'll like it better, I think. I know I make less money than when I was a banker, but I'm way happier. I would not go back to it. It's so people are so fucking dumb. It drives me nuts. It's so obvious too. This is such an obvious reality that there's vested interest in all this shit. Research, right? Science. Who the fuck you think pays for science? This is something I like to do with all the studies. The studies scientists have found in this study, that study. Click through so that you get off the CNN website and you go to the study, and then I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, there's a little section on all studies where it tells who funded them. Look at that. You'll realize that it's the same motherfuckers. That every study is funded by somebody with a big vested interest in it, and that science is just a branch of marketing at this point. Yeah, see, yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing is that people think that it plays the same thing, right? The mindset is, okay, well, if I just get the jab, if I just give them what they want, then they'll stop bothering me after that. And that's never the way it is. It's not the way it's ever been in human history, basically, when somebody's demanding you give up your freedom and autonomy in one area, they're really quickly going to take all the rest. They're going to take as much as they can. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. The more you give, the more they demand. It's the opposite. The more you resist, the less they try to take. And so anybody who's now getting poked because they think that this will solve the problem that they're having, which is basically tyranny, it's not going to. It's only going to make it worse. Only going to make it worse for you and for everybody. Ultimately, you're going to either have to accept that you are going to do whatever they tell you, and you're okay with that because at least you have your 5-figure income, or you're going to have to just cut your losses and go, you know what? This ship has ran its course. Got to find something else. Grow your own food. It's not. That would be cool. I'd do it for sure. I've only ever been out of the country once. I went to Costa Rica. I'd have to check. Yeah, I'd be down for that for sure. Yeah, no big deal. Cut some things out. You're probably paying for monthly subscriptions. You don't even know about it, about apps or this or that, you know? Yeah, I know. The whole, what, you think like everybody's lying, keeping it secret? Like if we didn't land on the moon, somebody would have said something. Yeah, that line of thought doesn't work at all. Manhattan Project? You kidding? You know how many people were involved in the Manhattan Project for decades and nobody knew about it? Jeffrey Epstein's Island. How many people were involved in that? I mean, it's super easy to use shit. People talk, they just get suppressed. There's a lot of errors in that thinking, and it's easy to demonstrate that it's false. I mean, it's all about power. It's all about power. Money is just a tool in the power game. Yep, that's absolutely right. I think that what we're experiencing right now in the world, at least in America, uh, with our brain dead president, I mean, the whole political theater that's unrolled over the last 5 years or so, well, longer than that probably, but definitely the last 5 years, I think it's all a demoralization thing. If you've ever read about military strategy, demoralizing your enemy is a key component. Break their will to resist. It's some Sun Tzu, The Art of War, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But I think that's why all this shit. That's why we've got such a brain dead president who's um, not only is he doing brain dead shit, he's doing brain dead shit very visibly, and the media is letting it be visible. And we just left Afghanistan, and and I think it's a demoralization agenda. USA is like zombie USA right now. Oh, the world is. I'd rather be in zombie USA than, I don't know what the fuck you'd call Australia. It sounds like that's awful there. Yep, that's exactly right. Have them turn on each other and be demoralized. It also skews perspectives a lot. I mean, there's way more people against, say, masks in schools than you'd ever think from looking at the news. The news is such bullshit. Thank you for pumping me up, Winston's mom. I am about to check out. I'm tired. Been a long time. Affirm and validate me. Mom's gonna mom. Anybody got any closing thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? I've got about a third a can of this White Claw left, so you got this much to get your thing in. Time. All right, thanks for watching.